Coming up, a Sad Styles production. Get into it!
So, Andrew, big month for Mario fans out there.
Big month for retrograde Mario fans.
Right, because we're going to be spending our whole month kind of talking Mario content with the release of the movie coming up. And we obviously know what we're going to get into. You know, Mario makes everything better that he's in.
Always.
Instead of talking, before we turn the mics on, I figure we should warm up a little bit. Instead of talking about the things that Mario has made better, give me some ideas. What could Mario have made better if he were in these proproperties?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's touch on his Italian heritage. Probably The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Mario's his consigliere.
Right. Cut off Yoshi's head, throw it in the bed.
Oh my God, yes, that is so good. I like that.
I like that a lot.
What do you think?
Also Italian.
Okay.
I'm thinking, does Benito Mussolini have a biopic out there?
You think Mario should play Benito Mussolini?
I mean, he is kind of like the fascist leader of the Mushroom Kingdom.
That's true. He does make the trains run on time.
Boy, do they run on time.
Yeah, 100%. Well, okay. We got to find out what other good things Mario has been in.
Yeah, rather than thinking about all the things he could have made better, why don't we talk about all the things that he did make better as we recount the top 5 Mario appearances in a non-Mario game this week on the Retrograde Podcast.
Welcome to the Retrograde,
the video game podcast where this week we talk about our favorite Mario appearances in pop culture.
It's me, Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself.
It's me, a Mikey-O, Aaron Worth.
Let's go.
Notes? Are you accepting notes?
Yeah, of course I'm accepting notes.
The way you did it, if you're doing the Chris Pratt impression, too much energy.
Really?
Yeah. Too much whimsy. For a Mario character.
Yeah, Mario, we need to make him gritty and dark.
Yes.
The realism of the world has crushed him.
Well, okay, we talk about that, and we're going to get into this in a little bit. Obviously, we're going to be, first we'll go over the rules of what it means to be the top 5 favorite Mario appearances in pop culture. My name is Mike Aaron with you, said you're Andrew Bascom. Yep. We are your 2 favorite video game journalists that you've never heard of, and we're going to get into it. But I do have some questions for you, Andrew.
Okay.
We talked about our impressions of the Mario movie that's coming out this month, which is why we're focusing on Mario all month.
Yeah.
When we did the breakdown of the trailer, the first trailer, we did that over on, coincidentally, the Mushroom Club, our Patreon.
Funny enough.
Patreon.com/Retrograde for $5 a month. You were pretty excited about the trailer. Yes. And it surprised me because you didn't like Detective Pikachu.
No.
And you didn't like the Sonic movie.
No.
What is it, just to give our listeners a baseline, that separates the Mario movie from those other 2 movies that you didn't like in spite of the fact that a lot of people did?
Yeah.
What do you think is going to differentiate it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think this solely being in animation, I think goes a long way. I also think it's partially brought to you by the studio that did the Minions. And I think those Minions movies are quite a hoot.
They are. And you are wearing your suit today.
I am. I've eaten a bunch of bananas before I got here. And
I had the president of Cineplex called me and said,
Cineplex is a local chain of movie theaters.
What is it? Famous Players?
Nope, that's also Canadian.
Wait, isn't Cineplex? Cineplex is the...
I don't believe so. I think it's AMC. I think it's a few other ones.
Oh, I thought
it's a movie theater
was North America wide. Yeah, well, the president called me and said, get that kid in a suit out of your condo.
Why?
Well, because they don't like kids in suits coming in to go see
the Gentle Minions thing, which was that a real thing? Like people showed up in suits and they're like, get the hell out of here.
I don't know if anyone got kicked out. I absolutely did see kids in suits going to see the Minions.
Did you really?
I 100% did. This is before I knew what this was all about.
That's adorable.
I thought Jordan Peterson was giving a speech somewhere.
Young men.
They were just carrying pet lobsters with them.
I don't understand that reference.
Oh, okay.
But
you clearly haven't read the 12 rules for life, Andrew.
One of the rules is lobster?
Yes, Andrew, the rule is lobster. The rule is you must watch Colin Farrell and Barry Keoghan's movie.
That's a good movie.
The Lobster.
That's a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah,
no, Barry Keoghan's
not Barry Keoghan.
He's in Sacred Deer.
And he's also in the
Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah. Wow, we're really off the rub here. Okay, so why I think this movie is going to be good.
Yes. I'm not interested anymore.
Okay, let's talk about the... Yeah, you know what? It's Lobster Month now.
Did you like the Lobster? No, I'm kidding.
It's going to get screen tested to death. It is going to be perfectly above mediocre. It's not going to be sensational. It's not going to be the greatest thing you've ever seen. It's not going to take very many risks at all. But it's because it has been... There's just too much riding on it that I'm going to say like, yeah, it's going to be good. We're going to walk out going like, hey, that was pretty good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's going to like rewrite movie history.
That's true. And we are going to be doing an episode based on the movie. So we're going to be releasing it a little bit out of sequence from our normal episode releases. We should say that now. But as soon as the movie comes out, we're going to watch it as soon as possible and get that episode up as quickly as we can, just to make sure our loyal listeners have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Because they haven't been looking forward to this podcast.
Every Tuesday it comes out and they're like, oh God, another one of these.
So that's just a little contextualization for our impressions of the movie.
But also, like, we're excited. We're all month. This is Mario. We never talk about Mario. You know, like within short spurts, we always kind of like just around the edges, little nibbles. And this month we're going to talk about Mario. And so what's a good way to talk about Mario, Mikey? The way to talk about it is the many different ways that he has completely changed video games. And so it'd be so easy to go like, hey, this episode's about Mario 64. It's like, and then we'd sit there and go like, good game. Like, what a good game that was. You're like, okay, that's really interesting context there. Instead, it's the idea that Mario has done so much more than actual linear games.
Yes.
He has been sprinkled into the whole world of video games.
The whole world of video games and pop culture in general. So we wanted to talk about, originally the idea came up where we're like, okay, we'll talk about our top 5 favorite Mario games.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, that list is somewhat predictable up to a point, and then it's just splitting hairs. There are some great Mario games, and then where do the rest of them fall? So we instead decided to exclude those from the offerings. Now, the general rule of thumb when creating these lists is, what was that?
General rule?
Oh, general rule of them?
It's just a character I know. General rule.
General rule. I was once, this is a true story, at work, and the general manager of the office at the time sent an email out about you'll never guess, pizza party.
Oh no.
And
we had to reward the employees.
We had to reward the employees. And he made a mention of, bring your lunch, some cards, whatever, and have food, laughter, and general fun. And then I sent a reply email to a couple of my friends in the company with a picture of, it was like Patton or something. It was like, hi, my name is General Fun. And like 5 minutes later, this is true, the GM walked by my office and said something like, that's not what I meant by general fun. I did not copy him on the email.
Oh, somebody snitched on you?
Or he just was monitoring my emails.
Oh, they can do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, no.
Hey, heads up, if you work for a company, they can monitor your emails.
Uh-oh, guys, watch out. I gotta go. I delete a bunch of emails.
I gotta go.
Like, by the way, I also like, he's like, I did not mean it like that. And you're like, oh, you didn't mean a military member in a general fund? Oh, thanks for the heads up. Appreciate it. You wasted both of our times.
Dan. So as a general rule of thumb, we've said that if the game is a mainline Mario game.
So give us an example of that.
So Mario 64 is like a mainline Mario game. Mario is the protagonist. It's Mario on a traditional adventure. There's some platforming. There's some running around. We're excluding those. Now, we had some conversations as well, Super Mario RPG. Paper Mario.
Do those count?
Those sorts of things. I strayed away from them because we didn't have an explicit understanding that like you can't do these because Mario is the protagonist of it. But I wanted to get a bit more creative. I wanted to look at games or appearances of Mario that had more of an impact on either pop culture or the gaming industry or just meant a little bit more to me for some niche reason.
Sure.
So all of my picks kind of have this feel of either sentimentality or macro effect on the world at large.
Yes. Right. Yeah, I think that's totally fair. If Mario has a weapon or a vehicle or a job, they're on the table.
They are on the table.
If he makes an appearance, if he makes a cameo.
Yes.
Absolutely. If it's not a video game, these are all on the table.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah, I think this, I just want to say it because
I just love, can we come back to that? If Mario has a job, because he's had a lot of jobs.
He has had more jobs. Like,
is he the Homer Simpson of video games?
Yeah, honestly, that's pretty good. Wait, how many jobs? Well, Homer's had a lot of jobs.
Homer's had. I read an article about this. He's had like 100 jobs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. If his job is not general like ass kicking and saving damsels in distress and stuff like that, then yes. Why do you think? Is he like a hobbyist? Like, why do you think that
Mario?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories here, but I think it's because Nintendo likes money. So they want to just think of more ways to get him into games.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
I guess so. You gotta watch yourself, but yeah.
Is it a little crazy?
Yeah.
It's a little crazy.
No, 100%. I think Mario, Nintendo's in the big pocket of the 15-minute city, and now everyone is...
Everyone's on the what?
But I don't want to say too much.
Yes.
I'm getting a little too close to the truth.
I am getting a little too close to the truth. Now, we are recording this on the eve, not on the eve, but after the release of a major title that I think a lot of people are going to want us to talk about because we hinted at it in our top 10 most anticipated games of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 4, the remake, is out. As of this release. Now we or as of the release of this podcast, and as of the recording as well. So I've had some time to actually play the game. Andrew, you've played the demo.
I've played the demo.
We're not going to talk about it yet. We want to do a bit more of a deep dive into it, and we want to save as much time for Mario in this episode specifically. So we're going to save our conversations about the Resident Evil 4 demo as well as my early game impressions over for the Mushroom Club. So you can find that over at patreon.com/retrograde podcast, $5 a month. Usually 2 bonus episodes per month. We try to do more. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So we'll see you over there if you're interested. Any other games that you've been playing before we get into our lists of
MLB The Show came out, so that's going to dominate my life for the next 6 months.
Tawny, as they say.
Yeah, very good.
You're welcome.
Anything else about that you'd like to elaborate on?
About Otani specifically or other players' names?
Feel free to just explore the room.
Okay. Well, listen.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo.
You know what? Sometimes I can just tell him like he's confident. He knows.
Nintendo of Japan.
Okay.
Otani of Japan.
Right.
MLB The Show last year was released on the Switch.
Yeah.
The Switch is run by Nintendo.
Yeah. Do I need to say more?
I don't need to say more.
Yeah.
I think you do need to say just a little bit more.
It's funny.
You need to say one word more.
Okay.
And that word is sorry. To me?
Why am I apologizing now?
To my fans?
Uh-huh.
You tried
to your fans?
All of them.
Oh boy.
You tried to catch me in a lie?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, a moment of ignorance?
Prolonged weakness?
34 years of weakness. Jesus Christ.
Like he has a cork board. Otani, Nintendo, Japan, and like just strings going between them. And he's like, you do the math. Like, what?
Because I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I don't know numbers.
What does this look like to you? Because I don't know what it looks like to me.
I have face blindness. Please. I'm dyslexic. And
so you're telling me this gentleman's Japanese? It's like, yes. It's like, oh. That's interesting. Whoa, that makes sense then. You know,
what are you thinking of?
Yeah, it's good. It looks beautiful. I will say, in a very odd way, the biggest thing I've noticed in the difference is the sound.
Oh.
The sound is really satisfying. Like the ball gets hit off the bat. Thank you. And yeah, perfect. And it like is something you want to do. You're like, oh, that sounded good. Like,
I think most people who play baseball, that like prime number one.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do is hit the ball. Yeah.
It's the
if it took the sound to get
the crack to the bat. So, okay, so Mike asked me a question and immediately shit on me for my answer. I think the sound has gotten a lot better. Yeah. You're welcome, video game fans. That's my, thank you very much. That's my time.
That's good.
Yes.
I like that.
Okay, good. Oh, you do?
I do. No, that is it's a very nuanced answer, which I respect. Much. Kind of like,
okay,
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Sure.
But kind of like.
Uh-huh.
Otani is from Japan.
Yeah.
Nintendo is from Japan.
Right. We've established this.
MLB The Show last year was released on the Switch.
Yeah.
The Switch is run by Nintendo.
Yeah. A Japanese company.
Also a very nuanced opinion.
Right. It's so nuanced that you almost don't know the meaning of what the hell you're talking about. Yeah. It's like so subtle.
Yeah. I like it. No, I'm glad that you
Oh, good. Moving on.
I'm glad that you got the game.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you like the game.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it sounds just like your wildest dreams would have imagined.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm playing it and I, like that first hit, I was like, hello.
Oh, I actually, so news in my life.
Oh, good.
Cause I'm done with your sound bullshit. No, but my partner just moved in with me.
Whoa.
And we're sharing space.
Sorry, people, Mikey's fans that were hoping to move in here.
Sorry, nobody. But so we're in a shared space now. I obviously want Daddy got a game. Me being Daddy.
That's what your tattoo says. Yeah.
Yes, Daddy got a game. Daddy got a game.
GGG, you know me.
And actually, it's like on my arm, it's Daddy gotta, and then on the other one it says game. So just.
Comes together like a shield.
Yes, exactly.
Whoa. Do you do that to your partner? Just like, bam, daddy got a game.
I thought you meant coming together. And Andrew, yes, I did.
To both? Yes.
Yes. No, so now I have to find ways to share the space that won't be disruptive to one another. So when I want to play video games, I'm thinking about getting the PlayStation 5, like the surround sound audio headsets.
Okay.
Because I hear those are fantastic.
Okay.
And it'll be a way where, we can be in the same vicinity. I can hear all the great sounds from MLB The Show in 3D audio.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. Well, that's why sound. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, you're gonna take a hit. You're gonna hit the ball.
Uh-huh. And let me say, I want to.
It would be really key to winning games.
Yes.
To you to hit that ball.
Yes.
Like I walked in another run. Like congratulations, and you got to go to your partner and be like, "You won't believe this." You take your headphones up. You're like, "You gotta hear this."
Well, it's good to hear that the sound designer hit a home run.
Does that have to be a branded thing, like the PlayStation 5? Like you can't just get
No, you can get
generic
whatever,
headphones?
but I've heard that specifically the way that they mesh with the PlayStation 5 is
chef's kiss. Yeah.
And that if I'm in your earphones right now,
Oh,
it's got to sound pretty good.
If anyone's listening to this right now on their PS5 headphones, let us know.
Also, what a waste of an expensive product.
How expensive are they?
I don't know.
I gotta imagine they're tremendously expensive. I don't know why I'm thinking they're like.
I'm hoping they're like less than $200.
Oh my God. Less than $200?
I hope so.
Christ.
I hope so.
Okay. Well, there you go. I don't know why I'd be shocked that they're anything less than that.
That's it. Like
isn't the console like $800?
It's okay. So the console itself, we're talking Canadian dollars. So
yeah,
it's
heads
about
up.
that. It's
Yeah.
about 700,
Yeah.
and then after tax and all that, the PSVR comes out, and it's more expensive than the console itself.
And that's in addition to
The
you
console.
need the console.
Yes, you need the console.
Okay.
And then you get PSVR. It looks great. Not knocking it. If you got
Sure.
it, fantastic. It looks great.
Yeah.
But all these accessories, like I remember a time when accessories weren't this bad.
Yeah.
You look at like controllers now are $90, $80 or something like that.
One of your favorite things though, PS5
The PS5 controller.
You love it.
I don't mind paying that much for PS5, but the Nintendo Pro controller being $80
outta
is
here.
such a fucking
Well,
ripoff.
Nintendo just loves gouging you left and right.
Totally. And then you look at like the Xbox's Elite controller, and PlayStation has an Elite controller as well. I love paddles on my controllers, so I want that.
Yes.
But they're like
a paddle.
$300.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But the other thing too, especially PlayStation, is that like they have a really bad history of going like, oh, do you want to, what are they called? Like the devices that you go with it,
An add-on?
Yeah, an add-on, whatever.
Peripheral?
Peripheral.
Yeah,
That's the word I was looking for. The peripherals, they have a really bad history of it like becoming obsolete very quickly.
Yeah.
And so now you're like, hey, do you want a $2,000? You're like, no, I don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Because remember that wand thing that came out that was like the battle of the Wii?
PlayStation Move, was it?
Yeah.
I think it came. There was also the controller. Yeah, I think it was the PlayStation Move. But
Oh,
yeah, it had those
Jesus.
weird like motion sensor dots on them.
And just like, I understand, like if you want my thoughts on VR, go listen to my hottest takes episode. But is that like, you just have to think over and over again. You're like, okay, is this the one? Is this the one that's going to break the market?
I totally agree. That's why I got the Oculus too.
Sure.
Because it felt like the one. It's self-contained. I don't need another console to play it. They're going to update the firmware of that headset only. I can still connect to my computer if I want to play Steam games, which I do. It has access to everything, and yet it's self-sustaining, and it's like half the price of a lot of other VR headsets out there, or was at least before the cost update, which.
Cost update.
New trend.
You mean
in
raising
electronics.
price?
That's not how we like to call it in the corporate world.
Oh my God.
Cost update, everyone.
Also, if you like MLB The Show like I do, and you hear the crack of that bat, it's not the only thing that's got a firmware update.
Oh, Andrew.
It's an erection joke.
Would you rather? Am I right?
Yeah, a crack of the wood. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello. How about that? I could have also hit a baseball after that.
Hitting dongs, as they say.
Classic baseball expression.
Classic baseball
ding dong.
So Andrew, why don't we get into it?
Let's do it.
Because I wanted to talk about Resident Evil 4, but we're going to save that for the Mushroom Club.
Yes,
You've already talked about all the beautiful sounds of MLB The Show.
Yeah.
What number are we at now? 27?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That sounds about right. Let's get into our list then of Mario. So once again, this is the top 5 appearances for each of us of any time Mario has appeared in something other than a mainline game.
Yeah.
right?
I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
I would. And so, like classic Mikey and Andrew style, we have not talked about our list before. We have no idea what's on there. So it might be exactly the same. I actually doubt it this week.
I kind of do as well.
Because there are so many options. It's insane.
It's wild. And I feel like there's a potential that you and I both have a different sort of thesis statement when it comes to crafting the list. So I already kind of said what it took to make my list. I harbor a great team here. Yeah, we have a ton of value. David Harbour?
David Harbour, a great team.
David Harbour, a great team here of children. It's children versus the paranormal. Yeah. It's Stranger Things. It's what David Harbour does. He harbors teams of children to save the world.
Yeah, when you start thinking about it like that.
And a schizophrenic mom. Let's be honest.
What is Winona Ryder doing in that show still?
A very good question.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. That's our thoughts on Stranger Things.
So why don't you tell me your kind of your thinking of crafting the list? Did you have anything in mind? Anything in particular that you were looking for when it came to making your list? Yeah.
It's so funny. I was trying to highlight some of the more obscure and fun appearances by Mario. Mario.
We've done well this time.
We've done really well. So if you're a new listener, welcome. Thank you. We love you. Is that we forever it was like Mario, and then we'd go back and forth during the episode and stuff like that. But ever since I think somebody told us one time it's Mario.
Yeah.
We've been really hard on this. So this whole month talking about Mario.
I think it was Riley Little actually.
Oh, Riley Little himself.
Past guest, multiple time guest on the podcast who has
one of the Three-Timer Club.
In the Three-Timer Club, indeed. Worked in gaming journalism, and he said, because we were like, is it Mario? Is it Mario? Who's to say? And he's like, no. It's Mario. I've had to deal with Nintendo's like their what do you call it when it comes
PR
to licensing
team or something like that?
It's basically like when you dictate color palettes and your style deck essentially.
Style deck, yeah. Like you write an article and they come back and they're like, actually that's the incorrect wording about this. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You and I are probably like, it doesn't really matter. Like tomato. And he's like, no, it very much matters. It's Mario. And you're like, okay.
We're getting a cease and desist today from Nintendo.
Get a knock on the door halfway through the episode. Okay, so I was trying to highlight some of the more extreme and funny ones and things that I cared about, like things that I experienced Mario in that was outside of the Mario linear world. Excuse me. And so there's so many on the list. I was like, okay, that one. Okay,
yes.
This one. Okay. And then these ones that
there was a lot of kill your darlings in this one.
100%. Oh, you could make this 20 so easily.
Yeah.
But I think it's more fun this way to really.
I think it's fun to do 5 because I really want to kind of talk once we've made a selection about that selection and what its impact was both to us and to the broader Mario world.
Yes.
And if it brought any outside attention to Mario or to video games in general, because there are a couple on my list that I think kind of made fun video games on a more massive scale, which is important.
More fun? That's general fun to you. Thank you very much.
But he did make the trains run on time.
Boy, did he.
And what a good speaker, though. I mean, say what you will about him.
He's got the riz.
He's got the riz.
Oh, my God. Absolutely. Okay.
They hung him upside down in the square. Ooh, general fun.
General fun?
Yeah, it wasn't a good time. Why?
Why? The trains ran too well on time?
They ran too well. People were having too much fun.
General fun. I'm so sorry. That is so funny to me. That's like, hey, that's not what I meant. It's like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I thought you meant. Thanks. Jesus Christ.
They offered him the role of Admiral and he declined it.
Admiral Fun?
Yeah.
Why that? Why did he turn it down?
Well, it just didn't. He didn't want to have more than just a general amount of fun.
Right. Yeah. Lieutenant Fun is not as good.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Mikey. I'm gonna start.
Okay.
Is that okay with you,
Andrew? It's your Mario world, and we're just living in it.
I like the sound of that. That's pretty good. Number
Does
5.
It sound like this?
What's up? Oh, hey, it's pretty good. Don't get me all aroused here. Number 5 is Mario and Friends appearance in NBA Street Volume 3.
Andrew, this is on my list.
Is it really?
It is absolutely on my list.
So canonically, that means in every time we do a list, whoever has it higher, we wait to talk about it then.
I wasn't sure if you played NBA Street Volume 3, and Mikey. I thought I was going to surprise you with this one. That's okay. Yeah. So that is later on my list. When it comes up, we will talk about it.
NBA Street is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Yes. How in the world did you think I would miss
That's fair.
one?
That's fair.
Yes.
So I will start with my number 5.
Okay.
And I want to be very clear about this. This is not a joke.
Good start.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding around right now.
Okay. Why would you?
Well, you tell me. I'm not the one judging myself. You are.
Yeah.
Without knowing it.
It's for Judge Payne.
Judge Payne. My number 5 is one of the first experiences I've had where I felt like something. What?
Judge Dredd was sitting right there. I'm so sorry. I'm really mad at myself.
Cease and desist.
Yeah, right. Oh God,
and
I don't want.
We don't want
showing
Judge, Jury, and Executioner Dredd coming to us and telling us
Jury Dredd, Executioner Dredd. Yeah, 100%.
Jury Dredd.
That's when you get the letter and you're like, oh no, it's gonna take a couple weeks of my life.
Judge Duty really confused the situation.
You're Judge Fun? Is your brother in the military? Oh, he is. Cool. I'm so sorry about your loss.
What a speaker. We know.
I know. Yes. So you're number 5.
Was one of the first situations where I recognized my little niche hobby, which still felt very marginalized. Coming to the main line, being paid attention in popular culture. And it was Super Mario Bros. The movie from 1993.
Yeah, I got that on my list.
You do?
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Okay, you know what's funny is we've had a bunch of these lists over the past little while, and we haven't overlapped at all. I thought we were going to do a pretty good job. So yours is coming later.
Yeah, mine's coming later.
So we're going to have some deep discussions of these ones when they come up.
And now I'm terrified of my number 4. Because now I'm so sure you have it.
Okay, what is it?
Number 4 is going to be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
I don't have it.
Okay, so this is very similar to NBA Street. This is why they kind of come 5 and 4. Is because one of my favorite things was that in NBA Street, and I'm stepping on your probably number 3 or something like that, but is that I loved the idea of a real world.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden Mario's there.
Yes.
And he's just like, hey, what's up, Vince Carter? Let's talk. I want to, you're dunking. That's pretty cool.
Baron Davis.
Baron Davis.
Well, because he was on the cover of NBA Street Volume 3.
Was he the cover athlete?
Baron Davis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Great. Many teams.
A jaw like Kanye West.
100%. You know him and Laura Dern dated? Like post-retirement?
That is the strangest coupling I could have imagined.
100%.
They seem like they would not be much alike. Laura Dern, like Baron Davis was a pretty fiery player.
Yeah.
Laura Dern.
Also thick as a truck.
Thick as a truck, baby.
Yeah.
Laura Dern seems a little bit more like reserved.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool. I think it is also another like thing of like, is Laura Dern really cool?
Oh, maybe.
I think she's really cool.
Maybe.
Okay, so what was I talking about? Yes. So real world.
Yes.
And then Mario, just as a cartoon character, is like, what's up? I'm going to cross you over. It's the same thing of this one.
Yeah.
It's like, because the other part is boxing judges it's a really funny job.
Yes.
Boxing referees, judges are a really funny job because it is in a lot of ways a very part-time job for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's not like every night, I got to go to the boxing ring and do another refereeing job. That's the way it is. A lot of these people are judges or cops and like weird jobs. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, Mike Tyson's got to fight down the street.
Yeah.
Mario, I need your help. He's like, can you put on your little bow tie and long sleeve shirt? And he's like, absolutely. And he's like, come on. He's warning like, back of the head, guys. Come on. Keep your chin up. Let's go.
Mike Tyson looks up at him like, you jump on people's heads for a living. Shut up about heads.
This is not about a me. This is about a you.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Oh God. It's just, it just, nothing makes me laugh. And it also like, there is some like unintentional references to Mario in so many games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, did they know in Donkey Kong, sorry if I'm naming picks, if they're in Donkey Kong, they're like, that's going to be our breadwinner. Here he is. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
And no, and it feels like this a little bit of Mike Tyson's where it's like, it's not like, oh, also, hey, heads up, guys, it's Mario.
Yes.
It feels more like we already have that guy designed, right?
It does feel a little bit like that. I actually read an interview about this a while ago, and Shigeru Miyamoto never approved the use of Mario in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Miyamoto, the creator of
Mario, yeah. They didn't have a process in place at Nintendo at this point, which is wild to picture a time in Nintendo's history where they didn't have a process for litigation and license approvals for the use of their most protected, like they are the Disney of the gaming world. Like they are very litigious with this sort of thing, but they didn't have a process in place for someone to just be like, I'm going to put Mario in my game. This explains why Mario in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out doesn't look one-to-one with Mario in other games. He's slightly off.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was thinking about this, I'm like, oh yeah, Mario was in Punch-Out. And so I started looking him up.
Yeah.
And you're kind of looking at him, you're like, that doesn't look like him. And I had to double check, like, is that canonically Mario?
Yes.
And it is.
Yeah.
Like, which is so odd to me.
Yeah, they laugh about it now, but I can imagine, Miyamoto being Miyamoto, he wasn't happy about the unauthorized use of his most beloved character at the time and probably ever in this game.
Yeah, he only laughs because he's a billionaire now, but he's like, man, at that time I was furious.
I was pissed. I was going to punch someone out. Yeah.
I lit a house on fire. And you're like, cool.
Did you ever hear about the story of an Easter egg in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out that took like over 20 years to get discovered?
No, what is this?
There was a I think it's during the bull. What is his name? Can't remember. I don't remember his name, but one of the guys that you fight in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And there's a clue when he does his rush. There's like a rush move, and there's a clue where if you're paying attention to the audience, one guy kind of like peeks up and takes a picture with his camera.
Okay.
And if you time it, like if you time a punch, like a star punch right at that time, then it knocks the bull guy out completely. And forgive me if I'm mistaking the exact enemy or the exact timing of it, but it's essentially something that was put in there as a little Easter egg that was only discovered like 20 years after its release. That makes me so excited at the prospect of, especially games like Dark Souls, which notoriously have like layers and layers and layers of hidden content, both just in terms of the text and the story, and also in terms of mechanics.
Yeah.
Because they're very opaque when it comes to what they've put in the game. Like 20 years from now, we may find something in those games that no one knew. And 100%. That's super exciting to me.
My TikTok algorithm is constantly reminding me of ways that Red Dead Redemption 2 is like, have you been here? And you're like, no.
Yes.
You're like, oh, really? Okay. So if I have to do this one thing on this one specific time, and like, that's cool. Like these games are more gigantic than we've ever imagined that they could be. So I imagine that there will be stuff forever that you can do.
Do you think for Red Dead, before we continue on with this list, do you think...
I don't have it on the list, no.
Red Dead's not on your list? No. Mario's appearance in it?
I'm surprised there isn't like a mustache skeleton or something like that.
Well, there isn't an Assassin's Creed game.
Really?
I don't have that on my list. There's a character in, I don't have it on my list either, but there's a character in one of the Assassin's Creed games who's like Uncle Mario, and it's a big nod to this guy's fucking, this is Mario.
That's cute.
Yeah.
And you know why he's named Mario?
Why?
You don't know why Mario's named Mario?
Why?
Because the original...
Oh, I thought you meant in Assassin's Creed.
Oh, no. Yeah.
The landlord, right?
Yes, the landlord. Yeah. He was very nice. He let them like pass on rent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they named his character after him.
That's
just like Kirby after the lawyer.
After a lawyer, because he blows wind.
I also imagine they're just like looking around, naming stuff like, and Yoshi is because... Like that's,
a question I had about Red Dead though is all these things that come up where it's like, have you been here? Have you noticed this? Yeah. These are crazy occurrences and all that. Do you think Rockstar is slowly inserting these in the game via updates without telling anyone and people are discovering them? Or do you think like if you played the base game, would some of these things not exist? I'm sure there is a legit answer out there, but I don't know.
Yeah. I always just assumed they were just in there from the beginning because the world is so big.
I'm sure most are. Yeah.
What's stopping them from not like putting more stuff in there? And like, if there is, cool. That's a
great
good use of updates.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I remember the first time I saw the Ghost Train and you feel like you're going insane.
Yes.
Like you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's like you're seeing a real, it would be the same reaction if I saw a ghost train in my real life.
You'd react in the same way.
I'd be like, what the hell is going on?
That's
and then I would have to go to the internet immediately. It's the exact same reaction I had in the video game. And then I'd go to the internet going like, anyone else see this train?
Did you rob it? What did you do to it?
I watched it and let it be. It has unresolved business. And you know what? You know who's running that train on time? Benito Mussolini.
Yeah, I heard the train's actually, the ghost train is upside down in that game.
No, why is that? No, I didn't hear that.
Or I guess that was Stalin, but...
Oh, Stalin was hung upside down?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Or was that also Mussolini? One of them was.
St. Peter was as well. Yeah, he was crucified upside down.
That's like Bloodborne-esque. That's creepy.
Yeah, it is really creepy.
I don't love it.
No, a lot of stuff in history is just really dark and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my oversimplification of history.
I don't love history.
No, I'm not a fan.
That's why I refuse to learn it. Unless it's the history of video games, in which Mario has appeared several times.
And we know little facts like the landlord was named Mario.
I love that. We're like, was Mussolini hung upside down? I don't know, but did you know Mario was the landlord for Nintendo?
Do you know the CEO of Nintendo right now is called Doug Bowser?
That's wild.
Okay, we don't make a big enough deal about this.
We should once a day have to acknowledge it.
We absolutely should. The CEO of Marvel is Carl Thanos? That's so strange. What the fuck? That should have disqualified him from the job.
100%.
They should have had a serious meeting and go like, Doug, how attached to your name are you? I swear to Christ, you need to change it. People think it's an inside job.
I think, honestly, it probably worked the other way.
Oh, that they're like, do you know, Doug, that is one of our favorite main characters?
He's actually pretty good. Like, I bet you he had more attention paid to him because his name was Doug Bowser.
Yes.
I bet. I bet you it helped him more than hurt him.
People remember him.
Yes.
People remember him for sure.
Not just remember, but notice.
Yeah, I guess so.
Out of the hundreds of names of people who work at Nintendo, Bowser's going to fucking stick out to you.
I was going to say, because Miyamoto seems like a pretty reserved, nice gentleman. Yeah. Whatever. But you got to imagine he's walking through the offices and he sees a nameplate on the door and he's just like, holy fuck, no fucking way. Is this serious?
Guys, we know he's a bad person.
He's just hammering on the door like, come on, I got to look at this fucking guy. That's great. We're promoting you. To what? My job.
My job. Yeah. So my number 4, which I maybe on your list. I don't know.
Based on how we're doing.
Based on how we're doing this, is a game that meant so much to me. A game that was unlike anything I played at the time or since. I think it was one of the most unique gaming experiences I've had. You and I have had the conversation as well. What is a video game?
Yes.
I tend to fall more on the line of like, let's let anything be a video game that's interactive.
Yes.
This one definitely has the question. This is like an interactive playground, and it comes in the form, you get the box. It not only comes with the game, it comes with a mouse pad and a mouse itself. It's Mario Paint.
Oh, Mario Paint. No, it's not on my list.
Not on your list?
That's a great choice.
Mario Paint was fantastic. It had all these different games and new ways of interacting with an interface that I hadn't really played before. I mean, mice on computers were rare at this time. It came out in 1992.
Yeah.
So I would have been 3 years old at the time it came out. I was probably still using trackpads and things like that, or running DOS or something. So to play a game with a mouse and keyboard was a novel idea, especially on a console. Do you have any memories of this game?
I have very loose memories. I've played it before, but it was never like, a game that I went to all the time or anything.
Yeah. I remember there were a few things you could definitely paint, as the name suggests.
Oh, that makes sense.
You could make music. I remember you would have these little blocks that were different Nintendo sounds, and you put them on.
Yeah, I remember that. That's from this game?
That's from Mario Paint.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this very clearly.
There was a game where you can swat flies. So you're using the mouse and moving around swatting flies.
Remember that?
There was
played way more of this game than I thought.
I know you and I have played it together because
Sure.
we used to play this game together, but it was I would bring it over to your place and show it off. The one of the biggest memories I have of this game, there was the opening title area, and it was like this canvas where there was a lot of stuff going on, Mario movement and 8-bit and all that, and you could click everything with the mouse and things would react to you clicking them. You click like a piranha plant and it breathes fire or opens up or whatever it is. There was a shooting star that would come at random, and it was very fast and nearly impossible to hit.
Yeah.
Once in my life, I hit it, and the sky, like there were stars and rainbows everywhere, and the music played, and it was the most satisfying experience I've ever had in a video game since.
Wow. That's
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
I went to school next day and you're like, guess what, guys? I did it. And they're like, no, I don't believe you.
That is the definition of like playground rumor
100%.
at the time. And I bet you everyone I told didn't actually believe me.
My cousin works at Nintendo, and there's a new game coming out.
Yeah.
Where you can decapitate Mario. And you're like, what?
Oh, yeah, I played that game.
Did you play that game?
I did play that game.
Oh, I thought that was a rumor.
No, my cousin works at Nintendo. He got it for me.
Really?
Yeah. He's no big deal, but very few people got to play it. I did get to play it.
Wow.
Do you want to come over and play it?
I'd love to.
Oh, Dan, when are you coming?
Anytime next week?
I don't have it next week.
Really?
Shit.
When are you going to have it?
That's a good question.
That's a good.
That's a good.
This is where we find out your mother's maiden name is Bowser. We're like, holy shit, your cousin's Doug Bowser?
Did Doug Bowser raise the ranks in Nintendo because he kidnapped one of the interns, Peach, and is just like, I will demolish this person if you don't make me CEO of Nintendo?
Do you think he goes through the Facebook of the company and he's like, I need to find a last name Koopa? Like, he's going to be my assistant.
Yeah. So Mario...
You're Carl Drybones? Well, I've got a job for you, Carl.
I always knew his first name was Carl.
Yeah.
So Mario Paint, again, unlike any game I've ever played, and one of the first experiences playing a game with Mario that wasn't Mario.
100%.
I'm sure I know more of them existed prior to that, but that was my first one. I think that really made me understand that he was a brand more than just a dude running around.
Character.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really interesting way of putting it, to be honest, too. Okay, so my number 3, we get to talk about it.
Yep.
Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
Oh, nice. We finally get to talk about it. So what I was worried about was you thinking that I was picking it just because it's notoriously a shit movie and I wanted to like make fun of it on my list or something.
Why? Okay, then why is it on your list?
Because when I watched it as a kid, I didn't know it was shit.
Yeah, right.
It was what I played. Like in my mind, I'm like, what if that is what Mario would look like in real life? I didn't realize it was just a shit interpretation of Mario.
Do you remember what movie you first went to and went, maybe that wasn't that good?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because as a kid, you love every movie.
Yeah.
Every movie's great.
I have popcorn. I'm out with the family.
As a kid, I'm like, I don't get to spend enough time with the family.
Dad bought me Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, life's pretty good.
I'm going to go home and play video games and not do homework because the stakes are very, very low for me right now.
Somebody cooks me a meal, does my laundry. It's like, time to go to bed. I'm like, it is? Great. And I just run off to bed. Man, that'd be so much fun now. Yeah, like I wonder, because it's like, you're kind of going out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Someone had to track when it was time for you to go to bed as a kid.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Huh? I don't understand how clocks work. That's great. One of my friends was just telling me the story that like their young kid like saw them at night, like they were making noise. So the father went in to say hi to them, and they're like, "Hey, I guess it's day. This is great. Let's just stay up now." And they're like, and just like, yeah, why would you not realize that this is a very different thing?
100%.
And it's the same thing. It's like, hey, it's time for bed. It's like, really? Awesome. Let's go. And of course, you're wearing like padded things, so you're just running down the yeah. Yeah, like I wonder. I'm going to think about that because I definitely have some movies where I was like, wait a second.
Not all movies are good.
Yeah, I remember seeing Batman and Robin. Notorious, a wonderful movie. And
it was, yes.
It was up at a cottage town. So it's like a very small theater.
Sure.
So much so that there was like folding chairs and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I remember my dad and my uncle, it was like a family reunion. It was like a rainy day at a cottage. So we got to figure out something to do. There's tons of kids.
Sure.
Let's go to the movies. And my dad and my uncle were like, oh my God, like 20 minutes in, you could hear him go like, okay, like, and just going like, and then him and went to a bar or something like that down the street.
That's amazing.
By the way, also like, really alpha move right there. Like,
really is.
It's just like,
just leave the kids in a dark
the keys
theater.
to my mother probably. Like, you like Batman? She's like, what?
So did you remember liking Mario when you first saw it?
I remember being tremendously confused by it.
Oh yeah, yes.
Not that I was like, once again, I probably thought all movies were great, but then they're like, it's Mario, and you're like, kind of. Like, I don't get it though. Like, and I'm like, but also it is a time where you're incredibly socially conscious.
Yeah.
You're just trying to fit in with people. So you're like, yeah. It was good. It was good. I totally got it.
Yeah.
I get why their little lizard heads are Goombas.
You're right in the sense that it was tremendously confusing, but my confusion at that point, I wouldn't have formed enough of a sense of like my own opinion being valid to say that maybe I'm right point. And the movie's wrong. Right. I was like, I must not have understood Mario the way it was intended.
Yeah, it's on me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great if you still saw movies that way? Oh, you're like, this must be my fault.
I didn't understand. You know what? That's like me with Disco Elysium. I'm like, I apologize for not liking that game.
That is true. There is certain things, where like you do watch it or you do appreciate it or experience it and you go like, okay, this isn't for me.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I understand there's artistic value to this. Sure. This is just not my thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that was one of them. Or the opposite is that I didn't have that opinion when I saw Mario, and I hadn't also developed the understanding that like there are artistic interpretations. And yes, I'm calling Super Mario Bros. An artistic interpretation.
It's definitely an interpretation.
It is definitely an interpretation.
No way around that one.
Of the Mario video game.
Yeah.
I didn't know, like, I just figured there was like the word of God and it spoke Mario. So if it spoke it into a movie, that's just what it was. It wasn't a poor interpretation of it. It was just, that's what Mario was as a movie. So I didn't hate it. And I just loved the fact that now I got to talk to my parents about Mario because they watched the movie with me. And
they did?
They did.
They must have loved it.
They loved it. They loved it. You know what they loved the most? And this is what I loved the most was when John Leguizamo got around the Goombas by slow dancing them to sleep.
Yeah.
Which
is a famous part of the game.
Famous part of the game.
Okay. Just remember, we're talking about this movie and we had Last of Us this year and like how far they've gone of going like, no, just make it the exact same way.
Yes.
Like don't, whatever. And you know, what's funny. You look back, you go Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. Okay. And you're like, that's going to be, and you go, and now you'd be like, if you didn't see the movie, you're like, Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's also the 90s. They could have made it like Jason Priestley and Skeet Ulrich, or something like that. Like two handsome, ripped Mario and Luigi's.
Yeah.
And you know what? To be honest, though, if they had just leaned into that, it might have been
great.
Yeah, it would have been pretty good.
Was it Bob Hoskins in that movie?
I thought so.
Because who played him in the TV show?
Oh, I don't know. I forget.
That's a good
question. Was that Bob Hoskins in the TV show?
That was Bob Hoskins.
Oh, so who played him in the movie then? Look it up, Mikey. Look it up.
No, you're right. Bob Hoskins was Mario in the movie. Yeah, who? I don't know who played him in the. You're
answering your own questions here. So yeah. It could be anybody. It could be Jason Priestley. It could be Skeet Ulrich.
Lou Albano.
Lou Albano from wrestling?
Yes.
Holy smokes, Lou Albano.
Yeah.
Captain Mario?
Lou Albano.
Wow.
And Danny Wells is Luigi.
Okay, well there you go.
There you go.
We learned something new. My TV show's not on my list.
No, it's not on mine either. It's not on mine either. It just didn't leave enough of an impression. That I do remember being confused by.
I don't know. I almost want to watch a TV show and I'd be like, I get it. Whereas the movie I'm still bewildered by. Yeah. Some of the decisions they made, I just truly would love to know the thinking. And the answer is going to be cocaine. I know it, but
John Leguizamo was involved.
Yeah. Who is still like acting and not incredibly old.
And is also really good.
Yeah.
He's really good in everything I see him in now.
Well, they tell the stories now. The two of them, well, Bob Hoskins is dead now, but they used to tell the stories of like,
he tells the stories to me.
Oh, does he?
Yep. I sit on my upside down ghost train next to Benito Mussolini and Bob Hoskins.
That'd be terrible. You start looking like you'd have like some kind of like group where you're like, we're all haunted. So let's tell our haunting stories. At least you're united on this idea, like AA for ghosts. And you're like, yeah, this little Victorian child keeps haunting me. And you're like, that's horrible. Benito Mussolini is haunting me. And you're like, what?
No. You don't understand.
Famous fascist dictator?
Honestly, kind of a chill dude.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's like folds my laundry.
You know how like when your dad has a heart issue and he comes back and he's like the most loving person, he's just changed quite a bit. Death does that to dictators in a really wild way.
He's repenting.
He regrets a lot.
Yeah.
Not everything.
No,
still
the trains.
The Spanish.
I was going to say, he doesn't regret the trains. Those worked on time, baby. The treatment of other people, not great.
No, not great. Not great.
Yeah. So that's my number 3, Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
I love that. I'm glad that we got a chance to talk about that. My number 3, Andrew, now we can talk about NBA Street Volume 3.
Oh, that's your number 3? This is fantastic.
It's just the absurdity. Like, Nintendo is very protective over their brand.
Yes.
The fact that in NBA Street Volume 3, they
an
allowed an EA brand. They allowed Mario, Luigi, and Peach
and Princess Peach
as the Mario All-Stars or the Nintendo All-Stars in that game is bewildering to me. Because you know what they didn't do? They didn't account for the size of Mario.
Okay, that is the first thing I was going to bring up. Because you probably had to have a talk of going like, so do we make Mario just big, like not tall, but just big all over, and so he can get to like 6 feet tall?
Sure.
And he's going to be 6 feet wide. Then
he's going to be like 4 Shaqs in that case, though.
Yeah. Well, right. Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
his proportions are so big.
Yeah, he's just thick.
Yes,
he's thick as all get out.
Thicker
than molasses. And he's not feeling well. He's going to call in thick tomorrow.
Oh boy, Andrew.
Yeah. Who's his favorite musician?
Alan.
Robin, but that's okay.
Well, Alan Thicke wasn't. No, he doesn't agree with a lot of the things Robin Thicke has done.
Really? Who? Mario or Alan?
Mario.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He doesn't agree.
Oh, why is that?
Well, he thinks that all the women in his music videos they belong to Mario. They belong to him.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because he has that possessive nature of women.
Does.
Yeah.
You can't run away with Bowser. She's mine.
She's mine. I don't know why
yikes. Not good. It's just amazing that they had to sit there and go like, okay, so do we make him big?
Yeah.
Or do we keep him small and it's going to look funny, but at least it's accurate?
Yes.
But I just remember his crossover being like sensational. He's like a little AI out there.
His crossover, and they in NBA Street they had various animations that they would do. So like for the load-in screen, you'd have your team, and it would be Vince Carter and Shaquille O'Neal,
Tracy
McGrady. That's a good team.
That's a good
Vince,
team.
T-Mac, Shaq.
That's really good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I might have gone. You know what? I like Kevin Garnett in those games.
Yeah.
One of the original big guys that can shoot threes.
Mm-hmm. I always Ray Allen. That's a big one.
Oh yeah.
And then Jason Kidd, because the passes were incredible. And then if you had a big guy in the middle, unstoppable.
Yeah. I usually go 2 big guys, 1 little guy.
2 big guys, 1 little guy?
I put a shooting guard at point. I figured that like a Paul Pierce or something like that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
No, the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, the truth.
Yeah. I hate Paul Pierce.
Oh, do you?
I've always hated Paul Pierce.
Why is that?
I hate the Boston Celtics.
Oh.
I'm a Toronto Raptors fan. We're in the same division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce was always pretty good, though.
Yeah. Really?
I liked him.
He's one of the most famous like faked injuries of all time, which people think was because he had diarrhea. Did you hear that story? No, they got carried off. So he gets carried off and like put in a wheelchair. He's wheeled off. This is a playoff game. This is like a really big, whatever. People know what I'm saying at home if you watch basketball. So he's carried off like under each leg, carried off, put into a wheelchair, wheel in the back. 4 minutes later, comes flying out of the locker room. And they're like, whoa, he's back. And it's like, okay, too much to too much. Like, you went from like nearly dead to sprinting out of like the tunnel. And so people have believed that he had diarrhea.
I like that. Go out with a bang.
Yeah. I like it. It's pretty good. But yes, so it's volume 3.
Volume 3. Speaking of volume in your pants. Volume 2. That's volume 2. Volume number 2. The image of a Mario who comes up to Vince Carter's navel, just crossing him around, but with the exact same animations as all the other athletes in the game. It's nightmare fuel.
Yes.
And I love it. I love that Nintendo agreed to let this happen.
I know. It's like in the next Mortal Kombat game, they added the gremlins.
Yes.
And you're like, what are you going to do? And then just destroys them.
It's almost similar to the Injustice to the Ninja Turtles being in there.
Oh, because they're so big?
Yeah, and they're weirdly proportioned, and just to see them just whipping ass, like stabbing people with scythes. It's interesting.
I really want to play that with them in it.
It's great.
Yeah.
So the whole aesthetic, I almost would have imagined that if Nintendo allowed, that the only way Nintendo would have allowed the Mario All-Stars to be in the game is if every other player in the game, while playing them, had to be Mario-ified. Like,
right,
it's wild to me that they allowed it to happen otherwise.
It's like the players, the NBA players, should step through a painting and then they get like shrunk down.
Squatted.
Yeah, 100%. That's a fun idea. Wow, I never put that together. It is kind of like
this is the opposite of Space Jam.
Yeah.
Mario's coming to the real world. Yeah, and he's ready to fuck you up.
And he's pissed. He throws down like $20. So like, let's start. And you're like, what? We're playing for money?
20 coins.
Yeah, 20 coins. There you go. Yeah. So that's my number. That's your number 3.
What if you turn around, all of a sudden, balls in the net, it's on fire. He's like, I'm on fire. Like, Mario, stop throwing the fucking fireballs.
That's really good. Yeah. Or like when he goes up for a dunk, is famously they're like, it's exaggerated. They get really high, almost like NBA Jam. Puts on the little yellow cape just because like he gets really high. Yeah.
Or is part of his jump or part of his dunk. This may actually be in the game. I don't remember. But he's like, instead of like doing a crazy 360, he does that like the mushroom growth thing.
Oh yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like a block. He's like climbing a vine and just blocks him and comes back down.
Oh yeah.
See, there's guys.
Bullet Bill, he just shoots himself to the other side. I think now we're describing Super Mario Strikers. I think this is where
that's okay. Which, by the way, gave a lot of thought to that one.
Yeah.
All right. So that was your number 3.
That was my number 3.
My number 2 is going to be a little game called Mario Party.
Oh, I thought you were going to say is in Paul Pierce's pants.
I'm being carried off. My number 2 is going to be Mario Party.
Nice. I'm very happy this is on someone's list.
Oh, it's just not on yours? No. Okay, good. I'm really glad to hear this. I think Mario Party is a very popular game. I get that, and there's been many iterations of it, but I think it's actually like the weird, forgotten title of these things that is incredibly popular, and I have always found incredibly fun.
Yeah. You know what? I have a theory as to why Mario Party has kind of fallen by the wayside.
I would love to hear it.
They've released new games, but they're never as popular, never have been as popular as some of the initial releases. I think it's because when Mario Party first came out on the N64, 4 controller ports, that was very novel.
Yeah.
Couch gaming, side-by-side gaming was never more popular than it was with the N64.
Sure.
For that reason alone, 4 people can get involved. Great. PlayStation added the God, what was that thing called? I can't remember. Where you could plug in new controllers.
Oh yeah, the extender or whatever.
Yeah. Names blanking on me. But at that time, you would have friends over. You would play video games. The concept of couch gaming now is way less realized and way less important in a lot of circles. People game from home and they play with other people. The this fucking blew my mind. The last Mario Kart game Mario Party game that came out, around the time of the pandemic it was out. I think they've updated it since, but when it came out, you could not play a game of Mario Party online with other people. You could only play like mini games and shit like that. It was one of the strangest decisions I've ever seen Nintendo make. But if you can't play that game online with other people, then no one's going to want to play and no one's going to talk about it. And I think that's why faith in that franchise has diminished.
That's really interesting. The only problem is there's certain games that you're like, do you want to play online? And you're like, no.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to be matched with a bunch of people that are that are like cheating the game in some aspect. And you're like, oh, well, that's not fun. I want to be put with people like kind of in my range. You know what I mean?
But even if you have your friends and you can hook up with them online, you couldn't even do that.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans indeed.
Yeah.
But like imagine a world where Animal Crossing didn't come out during the pandemic and instead no. That's not the end of the story.
Oh no, it's not the end of the story.
And instead it was Mario Party, and Mario Party allowed for online play. Can't you imagine that would have been the Jackbox of the pandemic?
Oh, 100%. I would have played so much of that with my friends.
People would have bought a Switch for it. You know, I know Animal Crossing was massively popular during the pandemic because it was the thing that we all kind of communicated with. We were living in a world outside of our pandemic-ridden world. But Mario Party would have been the thing, I think, that took over a lot of households if they did it right.
I completely agree with you. Yeah. It's a fun game. And it's like incredibly frustrating in a very fun way. Yeah. Like, you know, you get frustrated by it. That's a good thing.
Yeah. And a way to realize board games online.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That you know, board games brought to life in a way that a real board game never could.
Yeah,
it was great.
Instead of these Settlers Catan bullshit or whatever. Yeah,
trade me brick. No. Here, I'll trade you a brick. Catch it with your fucking face.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You want some ore? No.
Or I'm going to go play a different game that's more fun.
Yeah. I can get a little bit of more fun in my life by not playing this game.
Oh, buddy. Burn. Would you rather play anything but this boring piece of trash? Or are you going to be a sheep and play this boring piece of trash?
Yeah. Ticket to Ride, my ass. Ticket to Ride, trains on time. But yeah.
Ticket to Ride, White Line Highway. Tell all your friends they can go my way.
All right, so my number 2 is going to be Mario Party. Mikey, what is your number 2?
Speaking of paying your toll and selling your soul, we saw someone's soul leave their body in my number 2 pick. It's Donkey Kong Jr., a.k.a. the death of Mario.
The death of Mario.
The actual canonical death of Mario. Yes, in Donkey Kong Jr., if you don't remember, and if you don't remember, you should go back and listen to our episode where we reviewed.
A few months ago? I don't know.
Probably about a few months ago where we reviewed Donkey Kong Jr., In that game, you play as Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
When you win, you kill Mario. We also talked about this on the podcast. The story of Donkey Kong Jr. is I don't think I can say this actually.
Why?
Because I
got in legal trouble?
No spoilers for some shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay,
this is something that we've agreed not to talk about on the podcast.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to say that Donkey Kong Jr., if you read into it, is a great story of revenge.
Yeah.
The story is the original Donkey Kong, Jumpman, aka Mario, climbs the scaffolding, saves the princess. I think it was Pauline. I think it ended up being Pauline, not even a princess.
Blew Donkey Kong's brains out.
Smashed his head with that hammer.
Yeah. Blood, brains, gorilla brains all over the place.
Gorilla brains everywhere.
Yeah.
Woken something in me.
100%.
The thirst for revenge as Donkey Kong Jr., who now wants to chase after Mario and kill him. So one of the first games, if not the only game, where Mario is the antagonist.
Yes. We need more games like this.
Yeah. Are there other games like that?
That's a good question. Not on my list.
If you know, hit us up on our socials at Retrograde Pod on Twitter.
Yeah.
At the Retrograde Podcast on Instagram or the Retrograde Podcast at gmail.com. Let us know how wrong we are.
Yeah. For this or many other things.
Mario is always the antagonist in Mario Party when I am not him. That's one.
Oh, yeah. And one of the games I have coming up too, he's a real sumbitch.
A real sumbitch.
Yeah.
So Donkey Kong Jr., that's my pick for number 2. That game came out in 1982. So the long thread of Mario spans across time. Andrew, why don't you go into this is your number 1.
It's my number 1. I don't think it's going to be surprising if you know me. I think it's one of my favorite games of all time.
Okay.
The game that brought this podcast to fruition. It's going to be Mario Kart 64.
Oh, amazing. I love that.
It's just, to take these guys, and I know they're just sprites at this point. Like, I know you could put anything in there, and we've seen
Aren't they
that.
7-Ups?
No. I didn't put my hand up. You got to put your head back down on your desk.
Shit.
Is that, you could put anything in there. You could put Crash Bandicoot in there. You could put Diddy Kong, like we're talking about. You could do anything. But yet there is something so charming about the idea that Mario and his friends all got together at a go-kart track.
Yes.
And they're going to go up for blood.
You're absolutely right. And to even add on to what you just said, because you didn't make your point fully, and I feel like you should have really driven it home.
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing objectively is a better game than Mario Kart 64.
Sure.
Like, there's almost no arguing around that. Single player, controls.
Taj.
Or Raj.
Raj?
Raj. I think it's Raj. It's either Raj or Taj.
It's a horrible character.
Yeah, horrible character. The elephant who rides a magic carpet and follows you around. Yes. But it's a fantastic fucking game. And no one talks about Diddy Kong Racing over Mario Kart 64. Even though, like I said, I objectively think it is a better game.
And why is that? And why do we talk about Mario Kart more? Mario.
Because
that's
Mario's in it.
And that's honestly it. Like, it is so much fun. It is iconic in pop culture, and between bananas and green shells and everything that you talk about inside of that, Moo Moo Farms, things like that. People know these things. Rainbow Road, excuse me. I should probably use this.
Rainbow Road is a huge one. Yeah.
But that's we are going to talk about that in the Mario movie. Yeah. We think we haven't seen it yet. And that's that just only emphasizes how important this was to the Mario lore.
Yes. I love this pick. I didn't have it because
that's crazy. Really?
The reason is, I was pretty certain it was going to get representation on the list, and that isn't how I choose my lists.
Okay.
But when it came to picking between two games that are on the list for similar reasons, which is represented by my number one, I ultimately had to give the nod to my number one, and didn't want it I could have put Mario Golf and Mario Tennis and all these sports games that feature Mario and his cast of scallywags. But instead, I picked between the two. It was Mario Kart 64 and my number one pick, Super Smash Bros.
Oh, great choice.
Mario's appearance in that game as a fighter.
Yes.
As someone who could kick Pikachu's ass.
Yeah.
As kind of like the delivery mechanism for a proof of concept that would become a fighting game that is like one of the more competitively played fighting games. It was basically like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but Mario is going to fight Star Fox, is going to fight Captain Falcon, is going to fight Pikachu, is going to fight Solid Snake eventually, because he didn't come in until the GameCube version, but still.
No, this is just like a back alley thing. Yeah, this just happened.
Mario just brass knuckled Solid Snake.
yeah. Solid Snake made a pass at Peach, and he's just like, okay, I'll see you in the hallway. Let's go.
You think Mario was like walking through? Mario took a wrong turn in a pipe, ended up in a back alley somewhere, tripped over a box. Snake was in it, and he's like, "Were you hiding?" And Snake's like, "Yeah, I'm not down on my luck."
This isn't my home.
This isn't my home.
Actually, that's not a bad idea for a Super Smash Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Is that the pipes get mixed up and he keeps getting shot out into different worlds that are not his.
This, I can almost guarantee you that's going to be a thing in this movie.
Chris, talk to us.
Talk to us, Chris. He controls the story of that game.
It's a me, a Chris Pratt.
It's a me, a Chris Pratt. Yeah. Solid Snake is like, can you pass me my blanket? Cape.
yeah.
I hide in that too.
He's already got the 5 o'clock shadow, smoke cigars. Yes. Like he's already ready to go.
He has just like trash trailing off his hair. He's like, it's my bandana. I don't know. It's not just loose pantyhose. I'm not. But no, Super Smash Bros. Just as a concept for a bunch of Nintendo characters to beat the shit out of each other. Yeah. Another big move from Nintendo. It's different when it's driving race cars because they're not hitting each other. They're not committing violence against one another. So for Nintendo to say, here are all our darlings and they're going to duke it out.
Yeah.
They got around it by making it so that canonically you are Master Hand playing with toys. So it's kids playing with toys. But
Master Hand, I don't like that word.
It's Benito Mussolini did. And I just think what a great step for Nintendo to take, and Mario kind of leading the charge of familiar faces that would be pitted against one another in Super Smash Bros. Was one of the most interesting game experiences I've ever had.
No, that's a really good choice, and I'm glad that also got representation.
Yeah,
it is such an important game to so many people.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different light for Mario too.
Yeah.
Kicking ass and taking names.
Yes.
It's really cool.
Did you ever play as Mario in that game?
No.
Yeah, neither.
Never.
I was just never interested in it.
No.
I would rather play as Luigi in that game than Mario.
Well, you're much more of we didn't talk about this. You're much more of a Luigi.
Even though Luigi is for sure a cuck.
Well, you're much more of a Luigi. You're tall, you have a mustache.
No, but I know that. But I said,
you know that, okay.
I know I'm tall and have a mustache. The thing that I said though is that he's like much more of a cuck.
Right.
Than the guy who has his girlfriend canonically stolen from him by Bowser. But
right.
Luigi is definitely the cuck. That's the separation between.
Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah, I think that's completely right.
That I'm not like Luigi.
No, you are like Luigi.
Okay, 100% tall, mustache.
Right. Yeah.
The thing though is that he's definitely a big, stinking, honking cuck.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're the Luigi of this podcast. I don't think where are you having trouble here?
I'm just a little bit confused because I'm trying to explain to you there's a difference between a cuck and a hunk. Did you hear me right?
Right. Okay. Yeah, sure. They're both 4 letters. They both end with K.
C-U.
The second letter's U.
Yes.
It's pretty close.
And that's just why I'm saying I'm not, maybe I look like him. Yeah. But Luigi's a cuck.
Sure. I'm not disagreeing with you. Luigi's a cuck. And you're the Luigi of this podcast. So, it's funny. Next week, we're going to do the other reasons why Mikey is like Luigi.
Could you imagine?
Number 4, cuck. Number 3, also cuck. Weird. What the hell happened there? I don't understand how this works. We've always talked about that. We are much. I don't look anything like Mario, but because Mikey is a dead ringer for Luigi, that makes me Mario.
I still prefer being called Waluigi. I would rather be Waluigi than Luigi.
I totally see that. Yeah. I'm much more of a Wario. It's a little bit more portly.
I think we can do Wario. To be honest, Wario is cooler than Mario, and Waluigi is cooler.
Absolutely. Waluigi has a catchphrase. Luigi doesn't. Wah! There we go. See, you knew it off the top of your head.
And Wario's is Waha.
Oh, yeah. I think so. I feel like I'm much more of a Toad. I don't know why. Just like,
Toad may be a bigger cuck than Luigi.
No, Toad is like, I think he likes punishment. I think he likes to get stepped on. Tell me if I'm tell me if I'm wrong.
He's a mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
They canonically get stepped on.
That's true. Yeah. They're also magic.
They are.
Those are our lists. Wow. Amazing. Do you want to tell us everyone what your list was again? I
would love to.
Right.
So my number 5, actually you went first. Why don't you go?
My number 5 was NBA Street Volume 3. My number 4 was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out as the referee. My number 3 was the Super Mario Brothers, the movie. Number 2 was Mario Party. And number 1 was Mario Kart.
Fantastic, Andrew. Well done. From
Thank
1993, my number 5 is Super Mario Bros. The movie, featuring one John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins. Hoskins are plants.
Hoskins?
Hoskins.
That's what you let people do because you're Luigi to a dinner partner because you're Luigi.
A Hoskins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys get a couple Hoskises in there? Oh, nice. I got to stick around though.
From 1992 on the Super Nintendo, Mario Paint. From 2005 on the GameCube, NBA Street Volume 3 from 1982 in arcade cabinets around the world, Donkey Kong Jr. And from 1999 on your N64, it is Super Smash Bros.
64 in the playbook, number 1 in your heart. So okay, those are our lists. If we're missing ones, we are, because Dr. Mario's not on there.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
Well, Dr. Mario's gonna be one.
Dr. Mario is great. I just felt like I didn't want to bug him at work.
Yeah, he's got an important job.
He's got important shit to do. I didn't want to drag him into this podcast.
I just love the idea that, like, he's me, I'm Mario, whatever. And then he wears a lab coat and he walks in and he goes, "Hello, it's me, Dr. Mario. Can I see what's going on today? Oh, let's show me your elbow. Yeah, that's great. Just very businesslike.
It's a cancer.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, we're gonna take you down the street we're gonna take you down the hall for X-rays. Let's go. I'm so sorry. It's inoperable. You have 4 months to live. Hops on Yoshi.
I almost had a pick for Mario's referee appearances in general.
Yeah.
He's the ref in tennis, like one of the original NES tennis games. in Punch-Out. I also thought about a way to kind of combine his weird sports appearances prior to golf. Yeah, prior to Mario Golf, there was just golf, which we also did on this podcast.
Yes,
and Mario is in that game too.
Kind of.
Yeah. He definitely looks like him.
Yeah, he does.
Definitely looks like him.
Yeah.
Punch-Out as well, obviously. Mario Golf was one that almost made my list. And an actual game that almost made my list. And it felt like it hurt to cut.
Oh.
Because this was a non-mainline Mario game that I spent a ton of time with on the Game Boy Advance from 2003, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. One of those offshoots, kind of like Paper Mario meets Super Mario RPG, turn-based strategy game with a little bit of an active component in the combat. I loved that game so much. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Tennis, Mario Golf, Strikers, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, I almost named, Super Sluggers, talk about names.
Yes.
Hotel Mario, and of course his appearance in The Wizard, the movie.
Yes.
That was also something I thought about saying as well.
I thought about weird cameos as well, not just from Mario, but like in Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
Which came out on the GameCube.
Yes.
There's a Mario figurine in there. Yes. Silicon Knights did the port to the GameCube, and Nintendo, I guess, was heavily involved enough to say, put a Mario figurine in there somewhere.
That's amazing.
Off to the races.
So good. So those are our lists of non-linear Mario appearances. Obviously, let us know what we missed. What are your favorite ones? At Retrograde Mikey, at Retrograde Andy, and at Retrograde Pod. Mikey?
What?
Let's go.
Andrew? Waha.
We love every single one of you. It's only the beginning of Mario month around here, so we cannot wait to go see the movie.
Yes.
Go see the movie so that we can talk about this.
Yes.
I believe this is going to be next episode for everybody.
Yep.
So go listen to it. Go watch it so you can be listening to this podcast as fast as possible. And until then, we can't wait to talk to you soon. My name's Andrew Bascom. It's me, Andrew Bascom. And with me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself.
It's Mia Mikey-O.
This is the Retrograde Podcast. Let's go. But catchphrases are catchphrases. You can't mess with them. Ask Mario.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
A big fan for Retrograde Mario fans.
Big fan for Retrograde Mario fans?
Let's start again.